What if I told you that one of the most dramatic, terrifying, and misunderstood events in ancient history hides secrets that could completely transform how you see God, power, justice, and the human heart? And what if skipping even 1 second of this video meant losing the key that unlocks the real meaning behind the 10 plagues of Egypt? But if you stay until the end, you're about to gain knowledge that most people never hear, details buried beneath the surface, hidden in the Hebrew text, and hidden in the very structure of the plagues themselves. This is not just a story of miracles. It is a story of strategy, confrontation, judgment, mercy, rebellion, liberation, and the downfall of an empire built on pride. The story begins with Moses, a man who once fled Egypt as a fugitive, now returning with a divine mission. God calls him from a burning bush and tells him to confront Pharaoh, the most powerful ruler in the ancient world. Moses approaches the palace and delivers a message no king wants to hear: "Let my people go." But Pharaoh, believing himself to be divine, refuses. His heart is hardened by pride, by arrogance, and by the illusion that he is in control. And it is from this refusal that the first cracks in Egypt's world begin to form. God instructs Moses to strike the Nile, the lifeline of Egypt. The waters turn to blood, thick, dark, suffocating. Fish die instantly. The river begins to rot. The stench spreads across the land. Egyptians dig desperately along the banks, trying to find drinkable water. This is not just a natural disaster. It is a direct attack on Hapi, the Egyptian god believed to control the Nile. In a single moment, God dismantles the foundation of Egypt's economy and religion, but Pharaoh remains unmoved. Then frogs, not a handful, millions. They swarm the land, pour into houses, climb into beds, ovens, and kneading bowls. The frog was considered sacred, a symbol of fertility associated with the goddess Heket. God turns the very symbol of Egyptian blessing into a curse. Pharaoh pleads for relief, but when the frogs die and rot in enormous piles, he breaks his promise. God then commands Moses to strike the dust. The dust becomes lice-tiny, invasive, relentless. For the first time, the magicians of Egypt fail. They whisper in fear, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's pride is still stronger than his fear. Next come the swarms, flies so thick they darken the air, covering people, food, and temples. Egypt is overwhelmed. But something new happens. The land of Goshen, where the Israelites live, is untouched. God draws a clear line: judgment for Egypt, protection for his people. Even with this supernatural distinction, Pharaoh refuses to yield. God then targets Egypt's livestock. Horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, sheep, all struck with disease. The fields fall silent. The economy collapses further. Yet not a single animal belonging to Israel is harmed. Pharaoh checks the reports. He sees the difference. But he still refuses. Then Moses throws handfuls of soot into the air, and it becomes boils, painful, burning, erupting on skin. Even the magicians, once symbols of spiritual authority, are incapacitated. They can't stand before Moses. They can't stand at all. Their gods cannot help them. Their rituals fail. Their power is exposed as an illusion. Pharaoh refuses again, and God escalates. A massive storm forms hail mixed with fire, a contradiction of elements. It crushes crops, trees, and livestock left in the open. But God offers a warning ahead of time. Egyptians who fear the word of the Lord bring their servants and animals indoors and survive. Even in judgment, there is mercy. But Pharaoh's heart remains hardened. Then God sends locusts, an army so dense that the land turns black beneath their wings. They devour everything the hailstorm left behind. Now Egypt faces total agricultural collapse. Pharaoh's officials beg him, "How long will this man be a trap for us? Let the people go." But Pharaoh negotiates, bargains, and refuses once more. Darkness follows. Not ordinary darkness, thick, suffocating, immobilizing. A darkness so heavy that the Egyptians cannot move for 3 days. They light no candle. They cannot see one another. Their world collapses into fear and stillness. But Israel has light in all their homes. Ra, the sun god, the symbol of life and kingship in Egypt, is powerless. The message is unmistakable. Israel's God controls the cosmos, but Pharaoh still refuses until the final plague. God instructs Israel to take a spotless lamb, sacrifice it, and mark their doorposts with its blood. This act becomes the first Passover, a symbol of protection, obedience, and faith. At midnight, the final judgment comes. The firstborn of Egypt die humans, animals, from the lowest prisoner to the son of Pharaoh. The wailing in the night is unlike anything Egypt has ever heard. Pharaoh's pride shatters. His godlike image crumbles. He calls Moses and demands, "Go, leave my people," and the Israelites walk free. But the deeper truth often overlooked is that the plagues are not random acts of destruction. They are surgical strikes on the Egyptian worldview. Each plague dismantles a specific god or belief. The Nile god falls, the frog goddess falls, the earth god falls, the sky gods fall, the sun god falls. The gods of medicine, fertility, livestock, crops all fall. Even Pharaoh, considered a divine son of Ra, is defeated in the death of his own son. God is not simply punishing Egypt. He is revealing himself fully, unmistakably. And he is teaching Israel, Egypt, and every nation afterward that no empire, no system, no ruler, no idol stands against him. Centuries later, rabbis would say the plagues were a classroom God, teaching humanity who he is through judgment, mercy, precision, and power. And that lesson echoes to this day. Because the plagues don't only reveal God's power, they also reveal the danger of pride. Pharaoh had chance after chance to choose humility, but pride blinds, pride hardens, pride destroys. The story of the plagues is a mirror held up to every generation asking, what Niles do we rely on? What idols do we cling to? What warnings do we ignore? What darkness do we pretend isn't there? Yet the story is also one of hope. God protects his people. God hears the cry of the oppressed. God delivers. God restores. The same God who freed Israel from Egypt still frees people from the things that enslave them today. Fear, addictions, lies, injustice, hopelessness, and the false gods of power and pride. The 10 plagues are not simply a chapter in ancient history. They are a revelation of who God is. A God who confronts evil. A God who breaks chains. A God who exposes idols. A God who brings light into darkness. A God who keeps his promises even when the world's empires stand in the way. Now I want to hear from you. Which plague surprised you the most? Which one revealed something new to you? Tell me in the comments. Your answer helps this message reach more people. If you learned something today, remember to like this video. And now, click the link on your screen to subscribe and continue watching more extraordinary biblical stories that most people never hear. I'll see you in the next video.